Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you apparently free promo. I wanted to start covering some bases in a way. New people wandering here. I thank you for coming to check me out. And I'm going to preface this is not a buyer's guide. This is not a buyer's guide to Tyranids. If you are looking for that, this video isn't that. There are people with better videos for that. I I'm pretty sure. I think I've seen at least one or two. Uh, but you know, buying Tyranids for an extended period of time, you kind of just do the do. You kind of know. But for if you are brand spanking new, this is the only thing I want you to take away from this video before we get into anything else. Or not the only thing, the main thing I want you to take away from this. Buy the shit you think looks cool. Sometimes it'll be good, sometimes it'll be bad, but at the end of the day, you have to look at that shit. Okay? If you buy some shit that you don't think looks cool, but just because it's strong compared to what the rest Tyranids have to offer, you won't have fun. Even if you are like, yeah, I'm just gonna play versus my friend. Yeah, your friend might piss you off because you don't have three extra cringe. But if you think the extra cringe looks like shit, I don't know. That's your money. So probably don't do that. And I guess the next takeaway that I have, so sorry, I lied. Here's the second one. Um, really look where you can buy shit without getting scammed, one, and two, for cheaper than GW prices. That's really what this is. But today I wanted to talk about a couple of detachments and the perception of it. And one of the main things I heard about Assimilation Swarm ever since the Codex came out, or when it first came out, and Assimilation Swarm was much worse. No, I can't play it. It'll cost too much. And like, look, I'm not here to shit on anybody's reasoning, and I damn sure know that you can't talk about people's financial situation. If you feel that that's not feasible for you, don't do the shit. And I will be one to tell you, I don't do the shit when it's not feasible. Okay? But to that point, the thing that confused me was the perception of what to buy. Because here's what it was about. I can't play Assimilation Swarm because I don't have that many pyrovores. Now, going back, the list didn't include the Norn Assimilator. So it was the Haruspecs, Psychophage, Pyrovores, and Ripper Swarms. Here's the thing, okay? Ripper Swarms and Psychophages are dirt cheap. They've been printed several times over, and a lot. Well, they've been printed several times over. The Psychophage more so because it was in Leviathan, the release box for the edition. And Ripper Swarms get printed with Termagants and Hormagaunts. Is that everything? I know I'm missing one, and I'm be like, do they get printed with Gargoyles? No, right? Do they get printed with Neurogants? No, right? Either way, but they've also been in several other boxes as well. So, those two are harvesters, and it perplexed me so much that everybody's like, yeah, I'm going to need 9 pyrovores. And for that, well, a pyrovore off of GW is 52 a model. And I should also note, it's the same box as the biovore. If you don't know that, now you know. Um, but yeah, pyrovore, $52 USD per box, right? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be one to tell you that pyrovores are bad. In fact, I love pyrovores. I think they're really good, like the little homies. Comparatively, right? Because at the end of the day, it's still, whatever. But 3 flamers, 3d6 plus 3, 611 ignores cover torrent. I'll take that shit for 105 points. That's me, right? So I also like the model. To be said, I like that, and one of my things that I've been trying to figure out how to make into a video, um, and also on that note to address like weird comments too. I don't know how much people think you make off of YouTube. I'm doing this shit for the love of the game. I can promise you that. I don't know, but some people think that you get paid much more than you do for YouTube videos. I'll be the first to tell you that is not the case. Uh, Maybe I'll make that a video. Or hell, I'll be honest if you ask in the comments, I guess. But that's not for the love of the game. But that's a different conversation about money and Warhammers. For this now, Pyrovore, $52 a pop. You take three of these. Yes. Now you have the conversation of, well, do I want to spend $156 for three Pyrovores? But here's the thing. You never had to do that. You just chose not to take the 95. Now, mind you, Psychophage was 115, if I remember correctly. You just chose not to take the Psychophage, and you chose not to take your Rippers. And people are still choosing not to take the Rippers. I really can't figure out for the life of me why people are so reluctant to take the Rippers. They'll justify some random bullshit in the list, but the thing that works for Assimilation Swarm, I'm still not getting it. And I don't know how many videos left I got in me to talk about take the fucking rippers in Assimilation Swarm. It's cheap points right there, and a lot of your worries go away. But hey, that's neither here nor there. The other thing I wanted to say about Assimilation Swarm is the fact that a lot of people went, "Oh, that's only for people that have built up a collection to play this." So mind you, yes and no, right? I understand that can be said because you go, oh, I'm just gonna fill it with random bullshit, and then that way I don't have to spend so much on buying a horror specs that you probably already had, or a Psychophage newer model. Ripper Swarms probably already had, right? Pyrovores, you like the new model, but they have an old model too, right? So it was kind of odd in that sense where that was the main one is like, no, that's just for people with big collections. And I believe I was having this conversation with Elite Dark Assassin in the comments, where Assimilation Swarm was the first thing that I bought into this edition, so I guess that paid off. But the first one I've played, and I know I've said this on a video, I don't remember what video. The first one I was like really hyped about was Vanguard Onslaught. So hey, again, that's just you know beating it at this point. But just to say, the investment wasn't much because I like pyrovores. And thankfully, the Norn Assimilator came along. I also like the Norns. Um, but to that point, I still think that doesn't make sense lore wise. And I think a couple other people that play Tyranids will also tell you it still doesn't make sense lore wise. But I guess fuck that part because everybody else is going, yay, Assimilator could go in Assimilation Swarm. I'm like, but that's not what it does. But hey, digress. Back on point of the topic of how much this shit cost. You should have been bringing Ripper Swarms and Psychophages anyway. Psychophages. Oh, and to that point, I was going to put up eBay, but I'm fucking lazy and I didn't want to make this an incognito tab because haha, incognito. But genuinely, I didn't want to take the risk of, I guess, doxing myself because every time I was like, oh, this is safe, I found another thing that was like, oh, that gave away my location, my full government name, my social security. Like, it was getting ridiculous. So, for all of this, and I don't know if every country has access to an eBay equivalent. So, yeah, I planned ahead. Totally. But to that point, I will urge you, if you are looking to acquire models and have made it this far in the video, please look into some shit like eBay or your country's eBay equivalent before you click buy on any of this shit. And I also was talking about that too. It took me a few tries to buy something, so buyer beware on some things, right? Because models break in the transit post, whatever. And you might have to repair them, and then you get sad. But you know, think about them to that point. So the overall takeaway from Assimilation Swarm is you all were just being difficult. That's the takeaway. If anybody is still trying to tell you that Assimilation Swarm costs too much to play, don't listen to them, really. Take your models that you already have and see. Now, technically, it does matter in the sense that you need a new keyword. So if by some happenstance you have acquired 2,000 points in Tyranids, and you have never for the life of you desired to obtain, and you've dodged obtaining Rippers, Ripper Swarms, a second Biovore box, any Psychophages, a Norn or box two, and the Harspexes. You've acquired 2,000 something points and you've dodged all of these models. Fuck it, I guess you're right. But I do want to say it's a little bit unjust on my end too to say, hey, just dump $156 so you can have 3 Pyrovores, which, by the way, that could either be one unit, one full unit, or 3 units because you want the auras out there. And to that point, that's value. That's value, in my opinion. You will also see a lot of older Pyrovore models uh, out in the wild. So you can get those for cheap. And if you're playing with your friends, they probably wouldn't know the difference between this and this anyway. So I think they'll be okay looking at the old Pyrovore, Biovore models that are kind of utterly disgusting. In my opinion, I didn't really fuck with them. Um, and just go, all right, it does what? Cool. Go next. Oh, that bug over there. Like, it takes somebody that plays the army really to go, oh, yeah, that's a Biovore. That's a Pyrovore. Before anybody cares. Like, truthfully, most people won't care. So that's the words of wisdom on Assimilation Swarm. If you're still held up on not getting involved with one of our best detachments right now, uh, because you are still worried about the price, I really just got to tell you, maybe leave the Pyrovores alone. You can get all the rest for relatively cheaper, and which is kind of why these tabs were supposed to be open. Also, to that point, free promo for Wargame Portal. I believe I bought 1 or 2 things here off of this website, and it came in good condition. I have no complaints. But you see over here, it's $52 from GW. Biovore, Pyrovore, whatever, same fucking box. Wargame Portal, $44 currently. You might want to always look at a retailer store. Actually, not even a might. Always look at a retailer store. That's the difference of $8. $8 times 3 kits. You're on your way to buying the 4th kit. Woo! And even then, right? Here's the other conversation we had about what you get in these kits. This says 4 miniatures. Okay? You are getting some spore mines. No matter if you build them as a fucking Biovore or a Pyrovore. If you get the kit. So you get this, and you'll need fucking spore mines no matter what detachments you're bringing because you probably need a Biovore anyway. And if you get a Harpy later, Harpy later, or another Biovore because you like doing funny haha stupid thing, guess what? Now you don't have to worry about, hey, can you hurry up and kill that spore mine over there? I need to use that model again. Like, you just get the thing. So, if you're looking to take a dive in Assimilation Swarm at this point, this is me yelling at you that you are probably going to spend that anyway, and that you don't have to do it just on the fucking Pyrovores. You probably have Ripper somewhere, and they will come up again. I promise you they will. Going on to the next detachment. The new one that is, without a doubt, the most expensive, Warrior Bioform Onslaught. Why is that? Monster, I've had generations of warriors because we haven't updated the fucking box in a while. So, if that's the case, power to you. But this again is for the ones that I saw a lot of people, besides the detachment, being kind of shit. I think I'm gonna stop trying to be nice about it, even though I wasn't nice about it in the beginning. Then I tried to reel it in. My feelings about warriors aside, the detachment still is just like, why are you doing this? Okay, but for all the people that want to have fun with this because they have a special love for warriors, they played against them in Space Marine 2, thought they were cool. And I'm not even just trying to be an ass. That's genuinely some of the comments I've seen. Um, let's back up for a second and think about what Warrior Bioform Onslaught does. Okay, this is one of the few times, right? Or I shouldn't say few times. This is a time in which you will ever be able to run as many warriors as this detachment is eluding you to do so. Before this Grotmus detachment came out, you could only run a max of 18 warriors. Well, okay, of a specific data sheet, right? So technically, you could have run 18 melee, 18 ranged. You could do that. But for this to gain that many benefits, it is asking you to take a battle line worth of Tyranid warriors. So now we're going to 24 of a type, more or less. Now, the other thing about Warrior Bioform Onslaught is that unfortunately it is true. For the most part, I have yet to see it be proven otherwise thoroughly, and I'm not going to do it. That this detachment is pretty much better the less warriors you have. Why is that? Because, you know what, I'm not going to say it. I've said it in enough videos. You get it by now. But the best results we see out of this thing is when people are taking maybe two squads at most. One attached to a Neurotyrant with ranged, one that might have done some melee. Somehow, some way. Now, if you don't already have warriors, this is one that's kind of fucked up, okay? Because you go, so people have been collecting warriors for a while. Surely they've sold them and they'll be cheaper. Not quite. Not quite. Because it's not necessarily the same aspect with the Pyrivores and the Bivores where they got rid of the old models and you can find those a little bit cheaper. Or the fact that, well, it's kind of been printed in the release box. Now, mind you, Warriors were in the old Combat Patrol, or sorry, not Combat Patrol. Fuck, what's it called again? The Let's Start Collecting box. Right. No, we start collecting the Brood Lord. There was Warriors in that. There was Warriors in that. Anyway, try to remember where the fuck they came from. They haven't had a model update. For a little bit, right? Now, not to say that it's been the longest time ever. Eldar are finally getting their shit after 20, 30 fucking years. But it is to say that it's been not this edition where people are cleaning out their closet of the old models, and if you have a friend that doesn't give a shit about, da 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 da, you just pick them up off of somebody else and play them. But to that point, a full squad of warriors, because you're probably not taking anything less, uh, you got to take this and double it, right? So, okay, sorry, I thought the website was going to be a little bit sick nasty and double it. Yes, I can do basic math, but I thought it would be funny to do that. Either way, you're looking at $162.50 twice, not included taxes. Did I say $162? You're looking at $62.50 twice, not included taxes, which is $125. Right? Right. Right. You're looking at $125. Uh, to just play with one full squad of warriors. So, why would I want to do that? You tell me. That's also not including the Wing Tyranid Prime, which is indeed also cheap, right? Wing Tyranid Prime. Can I even buy you solo on this damn website? I genuinely don't know. Um, yeah, Combat Patrol. You can. Fucking A. Uh, that's a live reaction. $42 out of stock online only. If you want to do that, don't do that. Because again, that's another example of it's been printed so many times. You saw it was in the Combat Patrol. I believe it was in. Actually, I'm not going to give that false information because I don't know. But I wanted to say it might have been printed in that damn magazine that we don't have access to yet. That I think is rolling out actually, in the U.S. But people have it and they will sell it for like $15. So not only did you spend $125 for a full squad of warriors, one full squad of warriors, you then spend another 15 for $140 for a full squad with a leader. So if you think that my hate for the Warriors stops at I don't need to spend 215 points for what they do in game, I also don't need to spend $140 for what they do in game. Don't need to do that either. Now, go over to a website, you knock off another $9, $9-ish dollars. Okay? Do that twice, and now you can buy the Wing Tyranid Prime. Okay? So, for the price you would have spent at GW with 2 boxes of Warriors, you do that over here at Wargame Portal. This is just the only equivalent I knew of it because I know quite a couple of your favorite YouTubers, your favorite Warhammer YouTubers, have affiliate links. I'm not going to say who because I'll let you all fight for the click right there. I don't have a preference. Um, but for that, and mind you, this says a Tyranid Prime. You're going to be like, but it says Tyranid Prime there. No, 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 no. Not the winged Tyranid Prime. Don't forget that shit. You get the guy. You're not even fucking pictured here. There you are. You are pictured here though. Get the guy with the shoulders, right? You get that, okay? So don't confuse that. Anybody that's new and still looking at this buyers beware kind of video that I've taken the toll of or taken the attitude of. For that, now you can buy the Wing Tyranid Prime with that. But again, look at all of this shit on something like eBay first, please. Because I get asked a couple of times, it's just like, should I buy 18 Warriors? I like the model. Other channels have told me they're good. Should I do it? And I'll be the bad guy to say, fuck no. I say maybe, by 6 to 12. But, hey, that's just me. Again, you the one that have to look at the models, and it's your fucking money. But for anybody asking me for that advice, my advice, don't do that shit. But that's just the ones that have asked me. Okay? Before everybody gets to typing angrily about, oh, but their warrior killed Gilliman one time or some shit. I don't know. Uh cool. There's that. So, Warrior Bioform Onslaught is indeed in this weird limbo. Because the other thing about all of these tiered detachments is that Invasion Fleet, you're supposed to be able to take anything, and you can. So whatever 2,000 points you have can go in Invasion Fleet. Along the way of your Tyranid buying journey, you're probably going to buy some fucking monsters. And you put 10 of them bad boys in a list, call it a Crusher Stampede list, and have fun. Unending Swarm, funny enough, we'll get to this. Assimilation Swarm, we already talked about. Vanguard Onslaught was in the next slot. But then I took it out. We're going to bring it up briefly for a second to talk about it. Because not only do you fall into the trap because everybody does it, you fall into the trap of what we just talked about where, yeah, I want to bring 18 warriors, which is the only detachment before Warrior Bioform Onslaught you were doing that shit in. When I was advocating for warriors in a detachment, it was Synaptic Nexus. Surprise, surprise. -1 AP on a unit that people didn't think you would actually pop that shit on. Then you get value. But, hey, going back to Vanguard Onslaught, though, the list was 30 Gene Stealers and 18 Warriors for the longest time. It's finally changing. I'm glad it is. But to that point, Gene Stealers, you get a full squad in a box. Okay? You get a full squad in a box. Gene Stealers. You can only take. Ba 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 ba. Da, 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 da. Let's pull up their data sheet too to have some fun with it. Okay? 5 to 10. This comes with 10. That, yeah, if you were ever going to ask me which side I'm rooting for, Gene Stealers or the Warriors, it's the Gene Stealers. Because technically, you can make two squads of them in one box for the price of half a unit of Warriors, if that. So that shit's insane. Um, I closed out of Vanguard Onslaught, my bad. But yeah, Brewlord Gene Stealers, you were taking that. Take some Warriors and a bunch of other Vanguard units. Actually, let's pull that back up. Sorry for this one. I forgot I had an okay point. It's not the best, not the worst. About this, you were already buying lictors. So technically, come over here because everybody told you, hey, we buy lictors. If you've been on this channel, I've told you about Von Ryan's Leapers. Cough, cough. Shout out to that one comment a while ago that said, huh, you like things in the combat patrol. And I was like, damn, I guess I do. Would you look at that? I've been telling people buying the combat patrol for cheaper is worth your money. Fucking hell. Look at that. But yeah, I'll tell you, pull Von Ryan's Leapers. Um, Parasite of Mortrix, we've all done it because we think it looks cool. Just a cute little guy, right? Death Leaper, insane new model. You're buying it. You're buying it. If you're in the comments, if you're watching this video and you're telling me that you actually don't like Death Leaper's new model, I need to know. I don't think I've met a person that doesn't like that model. Please let me know. I will find it hard to keep it cordial with you, but I respect your opinion. Not really, but I'm joking. It's subjective, but it's a sick model, and I haven't met somebody that doesn't like it yet. And Neurolictors. We also like Neurolictors Thictor. The community likes Thictor. Cost a little bit too high right now, but for the time that was our only way to do damage. Uh, like at all, hoping for a battle shock test and +1 to wound. You bought the Neurolictors too. So for that, Vanguard Onslaught might be one of the best detachments as far as, well, since I bought the model, I might as well try it for the most part. Uh, and to that, I guess I also should talk about Synaptic Nexus, where it's the same situation. You need some Synapse models, you brought them. And then some shit that isn't Synapse benefits from it, and shit that is Synapse benefits. Everybody benefits as long as you're in Synapse, right? You brought those two. That's why you can play Synaptic Nexus. But going to the other one that people sometimes think costs a lot of money, Unending Swarm. This goes to the same thing about Ripper Swarms. There's no fucking way you have 2,000 points of Tyranids and you've just completely evaded obtaining. Because people will give you that shit for free. Any endless multitude unit. Right? Let's talk about the Termagants for this one. 45 points, and look at that. Look at that. Comes with Rippers. Yeah, that unit back here that everybody was like, oh, I can't play the detachment. I don't have any harvesters. And it's just like, I get it. If you never bought a Harspex, I can kind of see it. Psychophage is dirt cheap, and you have Rippers. Yes, it used to require you to be on some objectives and get some objective control. That is true. But the Psychophage has an aura of 6 and feel no pain and has OC. Yes, it cannot go through walls. It gets a little bit funky. I understand. But I find it hard to believe you never bought a second bioform box at the same time. But again, whatever your financial situation, I do not fucking judge. That may be the case. But we play Warhammer. So also you just know how that goes. But going back to Unending Swarm, Termagants, $45 for 10 of them, right? 10 of them. Over here, $38. Sorry for the flashbang. Um, but yeah, this is one of those things where you get 11 miniatures because, where there we are. There's my little bodies. Uh, you get 11 miniatures. So for a full squad of 20, we're looking at $76.50. But you're going to reuse the term again much more likely than you will find another time around of being able to bring that many fucking warriors. So I say this to say, on the Unending Swarm front, now, if you don't want to paint and assemble that much shit, understandable, neither the fuck do I. But people have had termagants for a while. A lot of them. The older models, kind of fugly. I don't like the older models. I'm glad they got a redesign, okay? But you will find people getting rid of that shit in droves. If you watch any of the tournaments that get streamed, you will see a Tyranid player probably that has brought his 15-year-old ass Termagants, and they're still there, okay? You will find access to Termagants, you will find access to Hormagaunts, Gargoyles, maybe, Neurogons, probably not. But if you want the Neurogons, they are also, again, cheap as fuck. So, I'm not going to tell you in the current economy to just spend your money on Warhammers. But I am going to say don't let that be the stopping factor for certain detachments because somebody told you, no, you can't play this without 9 Pyrovores. 9 Pyrovores are arguably good, but it's not the thing stopping you from playing Assimilation Swarm, especially not now. Especially not now. It might be the thing stopping you from playing fucking Warrior Bioform Onslaught the way it is asking you to play it. But if you look at the lists that have done well with this detachment, cough cough, so far there's still only one list. Um, you're looking at a whole lot of not warriors. Some shit that you already have. Synaptic Nexus, again, that's kudos to even if you were like, I need synapse creatures. You needed those anyway. You were probably bringing them. You'll get them. And Unending Swarm, I'd be hard to believe you don't have just Termagants and Hormagaunts out the ass somehow, some way, out of collecting from this point on. But if you have still been watching this video and you are completely like newer to the hobby and you're trying to figure out your next purchase, figure this video might help. Past the things that I said at the beginning. Here's the next thing. You'll just start to get models. Plastic crack is kind of no joke. You'll just start to get the fuckers. And the more that you have of them, then you quickly look up and you go, I guess I could play Unending Swarm, can't I? I guess I can play Assimilation Swarm for fucking nothing, So, say all this to say that listen to your wallet, right? Listen to your wallet and look for it somewhere cheaper. But don't let that be the thing because somebody else told you there's no reason to play a detachment if you don't have this one specific unit. I'm finally seeing people break through. That when I said there's no reason we're acting this way about the horror specs, it's coming to light. I didn't get a chance to watch it, so I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. Um, Sam Pope just won with Crusher Stampede that had a horror specs in the list. I was pretty busy. I didn't get a chance to see the stream. I believe that was streamed on Tactical Tortoise. I believe that's where that tourney was this past weekend. Um, and if it wasn't there, I know there was at least a Tyranid player, probably, maybe. I'm assuming on War Games Live this past weekend. There was a couple of tournaments. I unfortunately didn't have a chance to watch them to figure out what all is going on. I'll have to still catch the VOD and figure that out. But um, there was no reason to act that way about the horror specs. I get it, it's big, but again, my counter argument is you've played with the fucking Maliceptor. What the fuck are we talking about? Uh, Norn Assimilator, it's a sick model. Okay, Psychophage cheap. Pyrophores not cheap, but I like the model, so I'm biased on the fact that if I buy 3 of them, I won't be upset. And Rippers, you fucking have them out the ass. Somebody might have even gifted you one because you said hi to them that day. That's how many fucking Rippers probably are in the world at this point. So, yeah. If you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.